Hey everybody, Scott Pierce here at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call today for coming soon and just listed marketing. So we're going to be going through how to market listings that are coming soon or just listed. So stay with us, learn how to generate a lot of great leads from your listings or listings that you borrow. One of the main things that we want to talk about is the idea in real estate marketing of marketing listings that people can actually engage with. So it could be your listing, a listing that you borrow, and we're going to walk through social media, database, geofarm circle prospecting. And then tonight at 5 o'clock, if you've got an open house this coming weekend, again, on a listing that's yours or borrowed, I want you to join us. We got another YouTube, Facebook Live that we're going to be doing. If you don't have the invitation for that, make sure get into the mastermind group or with our support team. Just spoke to a client via text and did the open house. All right. We advertised it through Listings to Leads, did all that great stuff. He used the Listings to Leads open house mastery to do the open house. He got 2 buyers with homes to sell from the open house. So absolutely fantastic. Should be a lot more great leads as well that he generated. But 2 people from the marketing that he did, all right, and through doing the open house itself, following our open house mastery blueprint, 2 buyers that have a home to sell, and he's already got 1 listing appointment. So with that, if you have any questions as we go through this, please type them into the questions. Hopefully you can see that right there. Go ahead and type in where you're coming from and who your broker is. And we're going to take a look at listingstoleads.com/coming soon. And also listingstoleads.com/just listed. These are the 2 write-ups that we have that we'll walk through these 2 statuses. And again, if you don't have a listing that is yours to market this week, and even if you've got a listing that you've had for a while, right? Sometimes listings are sitting on the market for a little bit longer than normal. Find another listing to market. All right. We want to come out with essentially a deal of the week. And so whether it's our listing, another agent's listing that we get permission that we can market, or it could be new construction. But every single week, we want to make sure that we've got something new to show our audience, because this is going to help us generate not just buyer leads, but it's also going to help us generate seller leads, just like our client had the open house this weekend. Because what happens is sellers typically, or homeowners, I should say, because they're not sellers yet, but usually homeowners, before they start thinking about selling their house, they go out and look at other homes just to see, well, what's out there and how does our home compare to this? And, if we're going to sell, what kind of properties are available for us to buy? So by advertising homes, all right, again, new construction, our listing, another listing, we're going to get more opportunities to get listings from that as well. And that's kind of why we don't want to keep marketing our same listing, even if we've got a great listing. You may have a really great listing that you can market a couple of different times, and maybe it's on the market for a couple of months, and so you can market it maybe 3 or 4 times through the 2-month time period. But you also want to add in other listings. So it's almost like, imagine you're a store, right? And you're a store. Does a store have just one product typically, right? No, they don't. They got multiple products, and so every home is a different product. Now, one of the things I will say is, be careful on the home that you're going to market this week, as far as we want to make sure it is in a good market segment for our area. So I don't like to see people going to get a luxury listing that's too high up. So you don't want to get like a $4 million listing, and you also don't want to get a listing maybe that's too low. So I always talk about the meat of the market. And Chris Halpin from Michigan, Southeast. Yeah, I'm from Flint, Michigan originally. Not too far away from you. All good stuff. Family still lives in, oh my God, I always want to blank on this. Anyways, I'll come back to that later. So anyways, so again, the listing of the week that we're going to market, make sure it's a good one. And we got listingstoleads.com/coming soon. And this is the coming soon dedicated write-up. And there's also one at listingstoleads.com/just listed. Carrie Lee. In fact, you know what? The open house I was referring to was literally in Pensacola. So yeah, client in Pensacola, phenomenal open house, he said. He said a lot of great people at the open house, and 2 buyers with homes that they need to sell, 1 listing appointment. So awesome stuff right there. And all you have to do, just follow what we're going to be doing here. If you are not a client of Listings to Leads, you can go ahead and sign up for a free trial. Everything we're going to do here, you can do in a free trial. And if you are a client, I highly recommend, if you can, if you're watching on live, log in with me, and that way we can do it and you can ask questions as we go through it. I love taking questions. I love doing the hands-on stuff right here so we can actually get it done while we're together versus me just talking about it. And if you're watching the recording, I would highly recommend that you pause the video as I'm doing things so that you can do it. And then that way, just go step by step. And by the time you're done, you're done. Right? By the time you're done with this video, you're done with what you need to get done to start generating some good leads, getting some good traffic, and all of that good stuff. All right. So with that, I've logged into Listings to Leads, and I'm going to click on Listings. Now, if you have a coming soon listing, if it comes in from the data feed, so maybe you added that coming soon listing to the MLS and it went and it's syndicated, then it will come into Listings to Leads automatically. But if it's a coming soon where you want to have that exclusivity, and this is huge, I would highly recommend, if possible, whether it's for 24 hours, 3 days, right, whatever it's going to be as appropriate, you can do add listing manual. And you can see here, I can add coming soon. So, you got listing presentation, draft, expired, FSBO, you can add a just sold listing if you had a listing that was just sold. But for coming soon, right there, coming soon, and it's going to ask you if you got permission, if you can do this, continue adding coming soon listing. And then you will add the date. If you know the date is going to go just listed, you can do that here. And that way we'll automatically flip it to just listed on that date and just add. It's not too bad, right? It should literally take you under 5 minutes to add that coming soon listing. Save and add photos on the next page. You'll be able to select one of the custom domains. It's like 121tomlinson.thebestlisting.com or 121tomlinson.worldsbestlisting.com. So you'll be able to select one of those custom domains as well. And then when you've added the listing, it'll appear on the Listings to Leads dashboard, just like what we saw here. So we'll have all of our listings, and I got my coming soon, and I've got it just listed. So I will walk through coming soon first. Now, they're both going to be very similar, except that the verbiage and the call to actions will be a little bit different. And with the coming soon, you might want to put in there that this is exclusive, right? This is not on Zillow. It's not on Realtor.com. So if somebody's seeing this post, this ad, this e-flyer, if they want to get info on it, they've got to go through you. All right. They can't just go to Zillow and find out about it. So this is exclusive, which is absolutely awesome. So let's take a look at first the single property website. So here's my coming soon. I got a property video, my property description. I've got a 3D tour, so you can add all this kind of great content, my professional photos. I got a custom section in here. When do you plan to buy? All right, maps and local. So a lot of great content. Beautiful video. My like I said, my professional photos. If you got a 3D tour, you can add that. All the features. All right. Anything else that you can think of, I'm sure we can get it in there as well for you. And I'm going to click on marketing tools. And if you have any questions on adding video, just go to edit and edit photos to add your professional photos, and then edit video and 3D tour. You can add a YouTube link, embed code, and you can even upload a video. YouTube.com/listings to leads. So just go to YouTube. In fact, you'll see it. I'll show you a little later, but if you go to marketing calendar, there's a tab called resources, and you'll see our YouTube, Instagram, all that great stuff. So you'll see a lot of great content there as well. So here we got our, oh, that was FSBO. Excuse me. We're doing coming soon. So I'll click the green market listing button. We got the coming soon overview. So there's going to be a quick little video just walking you through the 30,000 foot view of coming soon marketing. And you'll see this at every status. So you'll see this for the just listed, active, and open house and all the other ones. I can click the checklist. So let me click checklist download right there. And here you can see now I've got my checklist. If you want to follow along with the checklist. A lot of people like to print this up because it's very just helpful to have it on a piece of paper, because you may not be able to go through all of this in one sitting. And so you can have this right here just to kind of keep you on track and make sure that you get done with all of this. Right here, if I click this learn more, that will go right back to listingsoleads.com/coming soon. So that was a page that we were looking at before. And again, that's a great resource to look at, because that is if you and I were sitting next to each other and I was just walking you through all of the items in this column. And all we're going to do is just walk down this column. So between the checklist, the guide, if you need it, and again, the guide was written more in a more familiar tone. So again, it's not like a support post where it's very sterilized. The guide right here is, again, this is if we were sitting down with each other at a cafe and I was just walking you through what to do. So you'll see very click wheel, kind of, people like it. I get really good feedback on that. So again, you can click learn more to access that. So let's just work our way down. Now, I did put a link to a recent call that we did on Facebook ads with one of our clients. In 2.5 months, 2 deals closed, 2 or 3 pre-approved out looking at homes, and then, 2 closed, 2 in contract, 2 or 3 pre-approved out looking at properties, and then more conversations happening with other leads. So I want you to take a look at that a little bit later. And on there, you're going to see the 10 commandments for Facebook ads. And I didn't start out trying to do a 10 commandment thing. It was just, I did the list. It was 10. So I was like, well, great. The 10 commandments for Facebook ad strategy. So you can take a look at that a little bit later. And I'll point that out to you at the end of this call again as well. Because the thing about Facebook ads, it's not about just doing one ad. It's about doing a series of ads over time to build up your lead pool, right? To build up your targeting, because the more ads that you do, Facebook will put those ads in front of better and better people, and you will see a cost per lead typically will go lower. Not always. In fact, this weekend for the client's open house, his leads were coming in at like $4 a piece. Now, open house leads are typically a little bit more money, but it's worth it just because you're going to get people to the open house. And like what we saw with the client in Pensacola, right? 2 of the buyers that came through, he's able to have conversations with, right? So instead of always trying to call up and chase down your leads, the beautiful thing about doing the open house is they come to you. And if you follow our training, especially the ones that we'll do tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock East Coast, we're going to walk you through how to do that open house in a way that will engage people a lot more often, so that you'll get those opportunities to find out, well, who are the people that maybe own a home, and you can provide a lot more value to them. All right. So for the coming soon ad right here, Facebook and Instagram ad, it's going to default location, 15-mile radius. Don't change that stuff without going through our training first. You do want to up the budget to a minimum of $50. We've got $35 in there just because that's the default minimum that Facebook will allow. But $35 is really not enough to get much of, it's not a lot of gas in the tank. All right. So 35 is really too low, especially for 1 week. $50 is minimum. $50 is the good minimum, but you can go anywhere from $50 to $100 in the beginning, especially. I would try to do 50 and just get your feet underneath you with ads, and then you can go from there. Because if we're not getting, we don't have enough money, Facebook doesn't have enough time to put our ad in front of the right people and then give us enough time to start generating leads. And again, keep in mind, it's not about doing one ad and complaining that we didn't get any good leads. You got to start doing ads. You want to give it, right? You want to give it 8 to 10 weeks minimum. And you're going to hear this from anyone that you'd ever talk to about anything. All right. Diet, working out, doing ads. All right. Whatever it is that you're doing in life, doing it once or twice, right, is good. And you might get lucky and you might get one of those leads will come in on the first ad that you ever do. And it can be awesome. But realistically, and again, that's why I put that link in the call here. And I believe it's pinned to the top. So take a look at that later if you've not already seen it. So we got $50. Now, because it's coming soon, I can click in there and I can say, attention home buyers. Not available on Zillow All right, just give a little bit of that exclusivity so that people, again, understand that this coming soon listing is not available on Zillow or Realtor.com or anywhere else, if that's the case. You want to make sure that you got a good template right here. And again, I go over this in depth in the at the link that I put that is pinned to the top here. But quickly, I can go to change template. We got 21 different templates below here, but I highly recommend the one that you're looking at right here. This is really the best template. And it's one of the best templates I've seen around because it's showing us three good ones, but then you got the one behind here. So we got 4 pictures of the home in one template. I don't like carousel for lead generation. I don't like video for lead generation. Those are good for other strategies, but for what we're doing here, I like this template. All right. Now, the only thing is when you put your listings into the MLS, a lot of times you're going to put 3 or 4 pictures of the front of the house. Then you got 3 or 4 pictures of the kitchen. So this template may be showing 4 images of the front of the house. If that's the case, after you click on change template, click on the edit right here. And you're going to notice now I can change my images. And so if you got that situation where you got front of the house, front of the house, front of the house, front of the house, you'll want to come in here and just click update image. And then you will see that I can just go back into my listing. Now that's a different listing, but you get the idea. And then just select, I like the front of the house for the main one on top. And then kitchen. Some popular ones are kitchens, living rooms, backyards, right? Other key features of the property, but try to show us a nice breadth of different options or different images of that listing. Don't show us the front of the house 3 or 4 times. So make sure that's good. Now, again, if you wanted to, you could upload an image from Canva. You could upload a custom image. You can use video because we got the ability to do video views, traffic, custom audiences. But for this right here, all I want to do is just change 35 to 50, confirm that we got a good template with good images, and click create ad. Keep it simple. All right. Keep it simple. If you add other locations, so for example, somebody just said here that they were in Pensacola. You may be thinking, well, I want to add Chicago and I want to add New York. So I want to get people that are coming down to the area. 2 things on that. If you do that, you're going to have to add more budget. You really need to add $50 per location because imagine Chicago. I mean, come on, 10 million people, 15 million people. I don't know, but it's millions. And so if you're going to try to think that a $50 ad budget is going to work for both Pensacola and Chicago, it's just not. And in fact, for Chicago, man, I would want to pump that up to even more, right? But minimum for every location you add another $50 to the budget so that the Facebook doesn't spend or doesn't, your ad won't be seen by people enough because it'll be spread too thin if your budget is too small and the population size of your audience is too big. So hopefully that made sense. Now this ad, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, but we're going to click view so I can show you. Cindy says, should we go from coming soon to just listed or open house ad for? Well, as soon as you have an open house, I would do it as open house. So if you got coming soon, let's say you've got an open house Friday or Saturday, and it's coming soon today, I might do coming soon for 1 to 2 days, and then flip it to open house on, set the open house on maybe Wednesday, and that way you'll have enough time to market it for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 days is enough time. I don't want to do, I don't want to give myself 2 days to market the open house, but I also want to give myself a couple of days for the coming soon. Does that make sense? I prefer lifetime over daily. That way Facebook can adjust the ad spend based on what's happening in the world. And here, let me show you. Let's see. All right, let's try that again. Normally, if you click view, after your ad is done, give it a few minutes. It'll take a few minutes to get active, but this is from a previous ad. So let's try that again. And normally it's just a second ad. Oh, I see here. Hold on a second. Let me change back to that. And let me try one more time. Sorry about that. But I just want to show you how you can view the ad. And this is something you can even send to your seller. And apparently, oh man, I'll tap fire. Normally, sometimes the API with Facebook is a little bit goofy, but normally when you click view, you'll be able to go view the ad. And then you can even share that with the seller. In fact, let's try this. Let's try this now, see if this is working. So what this is doing is this is going to go to Facebook like that. There we go. All right, that's how it normally works. All right, so here, now this is a great link to share with the seller if you want. All right, here's all the text edit that we did. Now if I click show ad, right here on the right, the blue show ad. And it should be, boom, there we go. All right, that's how it normally works. And then people are going to click, what is your time frame to buy? So they can select whatever they want. And if they hit just dreaming, don't get, sometimes people get so mad. Everyone says just dreaming. Well, of course people are dreaming, right? They're dreaming of home ownership, right? They don't know if they even can. But I've talked to people, someone will put in just dreaming, and then as soon as they find out what they can qualify for and that there's some good inventory and that they see something that they like, right, they buy pretty quickly. So please don't. It just kills me that when people get bent out of shape about it just dreaming, because trust me, someone could put 1 to 3 months and still take a year to buy. So, sometimes people get a little bit too excited about the 1 to 3 month selection. Sometimes people get a little bit bummed out about the just dreaming. You want these people in your system so that you can engage with them, right? Because no matter what they put down for that first part, right, they can pop or not, who knows? All right. And the just listed will work the same way. All right. So for the just listed, $50 minimum, keep it to one location unless you're going to add $50 per location if you add anything. Confirm your template and just make sure you're good to go. Yeah, Cindy, yeah, totally. Yeah, so then after the open house, you can change it right back to just listed. No problem. All right. So social media post, this should happen automatically. So as soon as I add the listing to my account, depending on how I've got my profile set up with the Get Started wizard, so this will typically auto post. And you can see Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Instagram. There's also Google Business, which I highly recommend. So you can connect more social media accounts right here. Again, if I need to edit the image at this point for whatever reason, I can click edit image. right? However I want to do that right there. So awesome. And then I can either schedule to post it if it didn't post yet, or I can click post now. And if I click here, we can see all of our old. So here I did a carousel, which is cool. Again, for the ad, I don't like to do carousel. For ad, I just want one image, even though our image does have the template image has 4 home images in it. But the reason why that works so well is because people can see the whole thing real quickly, because the goal is to get them to click. All right. For the social media post, we're not paying for this. And I got this set up going to a landing page. You can set it up to go to the single property website. So here you'll see the share tool. So I could say, you know what, I want that, instead of going to the landing page, I want it to go to the single property website. And then again, post, schedule, and get that up on all your socials. Next up is this seller. These tools. One of our clients, this guy is he started with listings to leads as a single agent. He now runs a regional powerhouse called Pearson Smith Realty with over 1,000 agents. But when he first started with listings to leads as a single agent, before he was a power broker, this was one of his favorite tools. The tools for the seller, because he would give this to the seller, and then the seller would send it out, oftentimes CCing him on that email, which is absolutely awesome. And right, the sellers, so here's the e-flyer. And then when the seller dropped this on their Facebook page, man, you can get listings from both of these tools. You'll get buyers from these tools, because the social media posts for the seller and the e-flyer for the seller's sphere of influence are allowing the seller to brag about you, to share you within their sphere of influence on social media and email. So how to use it? And these are absolutely free leads. So click the green, send a seller, add the seller's information right here. So, the seller's email, and I got Dear Ian, click send. And if you're not doing this, you're just absolutely leaving money on the table. So let me bring this over. Let me refresh my browser. It's funny. People will complain sometimes about Facebook ads. Like, they cost money. I get it. When you're spending money, it's hard to sometimes wait around for results because you're watching the money getting spent. But I'm just telling you, don't do, the biggest mistake most people have with ads is they'll run ads for like 2 to 3 weeks. They're inconsistent. They spend too little. They get discouraged. They stop running ads for a few weeks. And then they're starting all over again when they get their confidence back up. So for the ads, you've got to stay consistent with it. Now, this tool right here, man, if you're the list now, if you're borrowing a listing, you're not going to have the opportunity to do this because you don't represent the seller. But where you are the listing agent, check this out. Dear Ian, we're doing a lot of great marketing for your home, and the more eyes on your home, the better. Please copy and paste this to your Facebook page. And now you're going to want to follow this up with a phone call, and I'm going to role play real quickly with you the phone call. The seller, in this case, Ian, is going to think you sent this to him on your own because it's going to be your email address. So the seller is going to think you sent it. And I'm going to show you you'll do the e-flyer at the same time. So I want you to send this right here. This would be the version of that same email that you get. So that way the seller got it. So notice it's got my name as the agent. So it's letting me know that my seller, Ian, got this email. And if you got 2 sellers, right, Ian and Lauren, you can put both emails in the salutation for both of them. And then you'll be CC'd as the agent on all this communication. And again, it's letting me know, hey, Scott, this email was sent to your seller. So here's what you're going to want to do next. You want to call the seller up, and I'm a role play, super easy. Sellers absolutely love this. All right. So you're going to call the seller up after this goes out, and you're going to say, hey, Ian, this is Scott. I want to let you know that your property now We're starting the coming soon marketing. I did a Facebook and Instagram ad. That should be live here very soon. We got some social media postings done. We have a lot of other great stuff going out as well. I did send you something to put on your Facebook page, like we discussed in the listing presentation, and something to share via email, because as we discussed in this crazy market, we want to make sure to get as many eyeballs on this property as possible. And you likely know people who know people that want to move to the area. And that right there, the seller, all right, now if you presented that in the listing presentation using our 100-point home marketing plan, the seller's expecting it and they're ready, right? The 100-point home marketing plan presentation right here. So if you use this, the seller's already expecting it. But if you didn't, that role play I just did with you is exactly what you want to do. So again, call the seller up, you're letting them know all the great marketing that you're doing for their home, and that you sent them something to share on both Facebook and email. And in this crazy market, we don't want to leave any stones unturned. And when they put it on their Facebook page, it should look something like this. Now, the colors will be different depending on yours and everything. But their friends, they're going to come along and they're going to start liking it. They're going to leave a comment. What I would do after the seller puts it up on Facebook is I would come in here and say, looks fan. Just a quick little comment. And that way, every time the seller's friends start commenting as well, I'm going to get notified. So get this to the seller. People, so many free leads that you can get from this. I have seen people get dozens of free leads from this tool right here, both going out via email and to social media. And it's absolutely free. So there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't do that. So again, share on seller social media, e-flyer for the seller sphere of influence. Get both of these out the door. All right. And now when you do your coming soon, yours will count down to the just listed like we talked earlier. Next up is a nearby homeowner letter. This letter right here is one of the best tools to get listings out there. This is such a great tool. If you have an open house, this serves as a beautiful open house invite. I love when I listen to other people talk about open houses and inviting people and, giving out an invite. This is the kind of invite that actually generates seller leads, even if they don't come to the open house. If you click on success stories on the left-hand side over here, you'll read a lot of great comments from our clients about using this. But essentially what you're going to do is click. Now you can edit this. So this does sit in an editor. And you can see here's the letter. And so for example, if it's coming soon, I just want to let you know that 454 is coming soon for sale. And I could say, this home is not listed on Zillow or anywhere else. Right. Again, we want to build up the idea of exclusivity. So just a quick little edit, right? You don't want to make major edits to this letter. Just a quick little edit. Now I can click download. Now I've got either JPEG or PDF. JPEG is great for mailbox power if you're going to use a mailing service, or Zaire Mail, or maybe Thanks.io. I'm just going to do PDF. And I like, if you want to do a door knocking, I think PDF is probably a better way to do it. And now check this out. I just want to let you know that 454 Circle Drive in Granite Bay is coming soon for sale. This home is not listed on Zillow or anywhere else. So now they know, this is for the neighbors. So you can door knock, you could door drop, you could mail this, some people will tri-fold it, and then they'll have somebody hand address it, or they will hand address it. People like Corey Smallman will run it through a printer in their office with a handwritten font right there. Because what he does, he'll do 400 to 500 to 600 of these a month. So he invested in a printing setup in his office to be able to pump this out, right? Instead of sending it out to a mailing company where they just charge a lot more money. And he didn't want to do it by hand because he was having such great success. He would use this letter for just listeds and just solds. So when the property was just listed, he would send out 100 letters. when the property just sold, he would send out 100 letters, $100,000 in GCI in 1 year. Dustin Fox uses this letter for open houses and I believe just sold as well. And again, just blew up his business from a single agent to now running a 24-person team. Probably got 25, 26, 27 now. But this letter, and here's the thing, this is not an ad. So you can use this letter and you might, the lead may come in a month later, might come in 2 months later, because people literally will save this letter on their kitchen countertop and then get back to it. The old get back to it thing. You got that whole stack of papers on your kitchen countertop that is kind of like that short stack where you're not going to throw it away because you want to get to it, but it's not so urgent that you need to get to it right then. And so a lot of times, I should say a lot of times, but oftentimes the feedback from clients is, they use a letter, they got a call, sometimes right away, sometimes literally as soon as the homeowner gets it, either they'll scan the QR code, they'll send a text, or they go to the URL, become a lead. And, that can happen right away. But sometimes it can be a month or two later. And then when they get the listing appointment set up, right, based on this letter, they'll go over there and the homeowner still has this letter sitting there. So this letter is one of those things that people actually will save, unlike most of the postcards that we use. So take a look at that letter. And again, go to our, when you click on, when you're in the coming soon overview or the just listed overview, and you go down that page, right, on the guide, I walk through that letter in more detail. And I walk through and you'll see here, how to use it in circle prospecting. So if I'm going to mail it out or if I door knock with that letter, one of the best ways to get seller leads, and you got their phone numbers, I would highly recommend circle prospecting as well. So a lot of people, in fact, I had a client who recently, he was going after expireds and it just became so time consuming. So time consuming for him. It really was not a good experience. And I said, listen, in listings leads, we've got all sorts of scripts. So we got a circle prospecting script right here for a coming soon or just listed listing. So this would be great if you've got Red X or My Plus leads or any other kind of program like that. You can pull the numbers, right? Skip trace it against the DNC, get a mailing list. You can mail the letter to on the mailing side, but then on the calling side, call through with this script. All right, it's a great script to touch base with homeowners around the listing. It's going to allow you to refer to the fact that, in this case, with the coming soon listing, we got a coming soon listing. It's not available on Zillow yet. And I did drop off a letter on your door with more information. There's a QR code. There's a text code that you can scan, or you can text me back at this number. All right, if you're leaving a voicemail. But touching base with the farm around that listing is a phenomenal way to just get a few more opportunities for more listings. So I highly recommend using the letter. We do have postcards and door hangers, all to your brand. So when you sign up for listings to leads, or when you got your account from your broker or what have you, and you go through, you'll set your logo, your company branding, so everything will be absolutely perfect. Or if not your company branding, your personal branding. All right. So we want to make sure all of that is there. Next up will be the e-flyer for your database. And I didn't see this question, but normally I do, and that is, if you're doing the coming soon, you might do coming soon for like 3 or 4 days, and then you flip it to just listed. I would give it a couple of more days, while it's just listed, so you got a little bit more time in between, and just repeat all of this again. You're going to literally, because this is a new opportunity now. All right. And that's what Listings to Leads does so well, is we give you so many opportunities to get in front of your audience. All right. Social media, your database, the GeoFarm circle prospecting. It's all about being in front of the right people. I don't want to say it's a combination of as many times as possible and at the right times. And we don't always know the right times because we don't know what's happening with people all the time, but we do have the ability to be in front of people consistently with the Listings to Leads marketing tools. And that's just for listings. We have all the other tools as well. All right, now this tool for your database. This is another great tool, right? When you send this out to your database, it's going to click right to the single property website, just like this. And again, if you got a property video, you want to get that in there. If you got a 3D tour, if you've got a client review video, all right, so many great things here. And you can send it through your CRM, and you can also send it through Listings to Leads. So to send it through Listings to Leads, click Send Now. All right, I'm going to send it through there. You can select what list that you want to send and just click Send. Now, one thing I didn't show you, and I'm going to show you the copy code to send out a follow-up boss or any other CRM as well. But I forgot to show you, and I apologize, but underneath the slideshow about the listing, we're letting people know that when this home is sold, it's going to affect their home value. And so they can click here to get a home value estimate. All right. So this is one of my, you get unlimited home value landing pages. This is one of the account defaults. You know, people put in their address, they get a home value estimate. And then you got your Listings to Leads signature down here as well. So the signature, in fact, I had a client a couple of weeks ago. Somebody, it was, they used their signature in their email. So I think it was Gmail or whatever the CRM is. So they drop this signature. You can go to your Listings to Leads profile and you'll see where you can grab the code for this. And they dropped it into the CRM and somebody clicked the link right here, get your free home value, and they got the listing from it. Absolutely awesome for free. Right from the Listings to Leads signature right there. All right. Super easy. All right. To send this out from your CRM, I'm going to click copy code. And there we go. Follow up boss. And I might say coming soon in Granite Bay. And so here's the editor, right? So just go to the editor in whatever CRM or email program that you're using. Find your insert source or insert HTML and just paste it in, right? Doesn't matter what that is. There's our flyer, right? There's that slideshow, just like we saw in listings. It's the same thing that we saw in Listings to Leads, right? There's a home value. We got our signature, right? People click that. It's going to go to the home value landing page like we saw a minute ago. And then I can come up here and say, not on Zillow or I'm going to say any other website. Now, if it's just listed, obviously it's probably going to be on Zillow, so I wouldn't put that there. You would just use it a little bit more as is. But I think for coming soon, some that are pending and just sold, I like to put just a little bit more information there so that people get a more of a flavor for it. So in this case, as a coming soon, that is not on Zillow. All right, that is exclusive. All right. Yes, Janet, yes, this is being recorded. If you go to our YouTube channel, that'll probably be the easiest place to find it. So go to YouTube, find Listings to Leads, and click the live tab. And you can also ask our support. Just ask our support team. They'll send you the recording a little bit later. But yes, it is being recorded. All right, and then just click send, right? Preview email, and then send that out to your database. I would send this to all of my leads in my database, just my entire database. One thing I didn't say yet in this call is the best way to generate seller leads is to have an open house. The second best way is to market a listing that is for sale for exactly the reason why I said it at the beginning of this call. And that is because typically homeowners, when they are just starting to think about selling their property, they want to see what else is on the market. They want to see the competition. They want to see what are the kind of homes they're going to be looking at buying. So they might start looking at homes in their own neighborhood, right, that are for sale, because again, they want to see the competition. And then they might go look at homes in the area that they're thinking about buying to see where they're going to land, right? So they're going to look at homes all over the place. So just because you generate a buyer lead on a particular home over here, right, they may have a home to sell that's completely over here, and vice versa. All right. I have a listing I need to get sold yesterday, and I want to get more listing in 55 plus community. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Janet, I'll tell you what, door knocking the 55 plus community is awesome. All right. Because people are going to be home more often. If you got the right personality, and I'm sure you do, if you're into that, if that's one of your niches, being able to talk to these people face to face. So I would take that letter all day long and door knock that community. You're probably going to be doing better if you door knock versus doing an ad, to be honest with you. Because a lot of times, the older people, they typically have phone numbers that are like landlines, right? So especially when you get into your 60s and your 70s, even like in the 80s, a lot of these people, when they have a Facebook page, they're using a home phone number. So it's going to be kind of hard to get a hold of them because you probably don't even have the home phone anymore. But that's what's showing up on Facebook. So I would say door knocking. No, during the week, I did this with a woman, and in our area, and play with it, right? In fact, I would do. You might go door knocking like at a Wednesday at 11 a.m. So before they go for lunch, right? Especially they're eating dinner at 5 and going to bed at 8 or 9. So I would say late morning, try it, and then try it, early afternoon, and then maybe try one on the weekend and just see what you think works best in your area. Because every area is going to be a little bit different. But yeah, if you are going after an older demographic, door knocking with that letter is one of the best ways. Because older people, I mean everybody, but older people especially appreciate the face to face, right? And if you got the right demeanor, you got the right script, if you got the right handout like this right here, and you're referencing another home in the area, and you do that a couple of times, you're going to build up a lot more trust with people. So yeah, highly recommend. Yeah, Eric, exactly right. That's a great question right there. Yeah, I like that. Eric says over 55 communities have a reverse sales season in Phoenix, and likely in your area too. Yeah, great job, Eric. Thank you. I like that. Very nice. Cindy. All right. Yeah. If you get any support issues, please make sure to send that to support. On my SOI email and FUB, after the best wishes, there is. Sounds good. Yeah. All right. If you see Cindy, if you see that, just delete it. Just highlight it and hit delete on your keyboard. All right. Database call script. Yeah, if there's a tiny, because some CRMs can do, have a little bit of a way they do coding. It can be a little bit different. So like for example, I can't think of what CRM right now, but a double space the top of it, I just put my cursor and I just backed so that it was a single space versus double. Does that make sense? So if you see something major, send it to support so we can take a look at it. But if it's just something like a quick little format, or if it's something you can just delete, just do that. You'll be good to go. All right, Cindy? Perfect. Database call script. The easiest phone calls you can make are to your database. And you get credit when you leave a voicemail. So, these people are in your database. Hopefully, we're going to cycle through them at least maybe every 3 or 4 months. You're going to be able to make a phone call to them. Now, if your database is small, you might be able to call them monthly. If they are a hot lead or a warm lead, you're going to call them more often. But even for your colder leads or the leads that are older, you need to be calling them. And this is an absolutely phenomenal script to call through some of those older leads and some of your newer leads as well. But these are also really good for those medium to long, leads from the medium to long term ago. And a great little script. You're just calling them especially for the coming soon listing, right? Especially for the coming soon listing. So I would call the buyer leads in my database, and I would call through if I have any homeowner leads or any I hate to say seller leads necessarily because maybe they're not a seller yet, but if they're a homeowner and they live near this listing, I would call them up as well. Because again, similar to the nearby homeowner letter, I want to call people in my database that live around that listing to let them know, hey, there's a new listing coming soon for sale, or there is a new listing that just listed. So use that database call script. And notice here, there are 3 ways to end it. If they own a home in the farm area, all right, that's one version. And if they do own a home around the listing, we're going to say when this home sells, it will affect the value of your home and others in the area. Would Cindy at hepburn.com be the best email to send your new home value update to? Right? And just ask them. Now, you can always do the wrong email correct me routine, where you might say, is Cindy at listingsleads.com the best email to send that to? I've got, right, with a name like Cindy and a lot of names, you can kind of substitute Y's and I's and what have you. So if it's C-I-N-D-Y, you might go, I've got C-Y-N-D-I at listingsleads.com or whatever. You get the idea there. And, you know, if it's someone that has kind of ghosted you or you've never been able to reach out and get contact with, that might be a nice way to get them to go, oh, you know what? Let me text them back or call them back or email them and just let them know that my email, that they got the wrong email. Now, if they own a home that is not in the farm area, right, you have another option right here. And then if they are a buyer or a seller lead, right, another ending. So Janet says, have you shared a great tool for skip tracing? I have a very limited database. Janet, so, you know, My Plus Leads is good. RedX is good. There's a lot of good ones out there. Batch Leads, there's another one. There's a few. They've all got their detractors. They've all got people that will complain about them. They've all got people that love them, right? So it's just going to be, you know, you might want to take a look at them, see if there's any of them that you like. I would also say you could, you know, for example, RedX or any of them. I don't want to say RedX, but let's say it's a monthly subscription of $100. I don't even know. And maybe it's going to cost you $200 to skip a list. Would you rather put that $300 into your ad budget? Because here's the deal. Not every phone number I get is going to be a good phone number by any means, but I'm going to walk you through how to find better phone numbers. But you won't have to skip trace them because they came through as a lead. So you've got the ability to call them without having to skip trace them. So that's actually something I just thought of on the fly right here. But we'll talk more about that in some other calls. But, you know, that's something to think about as well. All right, short form video script. We're kind of running out of time. I'm going to be a little bit brief here. Do ask me any questions as we go through this. I don't want to shortchange anybody on this call. But short form video script, I'm telling you, you could do 2 or 3 videos on your property of the week per week. All right. We give you a great script right here. What you're going to want to do, if you're on your computer, click send this to yourself. Or if you're a VA assistant, send it to your agent. If you're on your phone, you'll have the script right here on your phone. You could either drop it into a teleprompter app or, you know, just read it. All right. Just read it, paraphrase it, do your video, but do a short form video. All right. And when I say short form, I'm talking about the vertical videos that you can upload to TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. From Instagram, you can automatically put it up on Facebook as well, right from Instagram. But these are free. These are absolutely free to do. And we give you a great script, right? Hey, everybody in Granite Bay, I want to let you know that 454 Circle Drive is coming soon for sale. You can get all the photos, details, and more by texting 1-0009-25678, or you can DM comment below, and I'll get everything to you as quickly as possible. This is a beautiful property on a corner lot with a park-like backyard, updated kitchen. You're going to absolutely love it. And it's the first time it's been on the market since 1993, and it's been updated throughout. So absolutely great property. Now, if you live in the area and if you're a Granite Bay homeowner, when this home is sold, it's going to affect your home value. So I want to invite you to go to california.freehomevalues.net and you can get your updated home value for free, or comment home value below and I'll get you your updated home value estimate to you ASAP. Great little script. Notice I didn't go word for word. I didn't even try to. There's no need to, because you want to be real. You want it to be your idiosyncrasies. You want it to be your energy. All right. Not something that you're trying to force on yourself. So take a look at the script, just like I did, and just paraphrase it. Go to that property, record it, and get a great video out the door, right? Get that up on, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Get it up on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Make sense? Makes sense. All right. Single property website virtual tour. We're going to skip that. We got the open, you can always get with our support, but those are beautiful. We've looked at them a number of times already throughout this call. We got the open house sign-in form. We'll talk about that tonight at 5 o'clock. We got listing flyers. No, I thought I had a coming soon. See this right here? This might look backwards to you. Get this on your yard sign. All right. I have talked to clients and they get listings. They get buyers from their yard sign because they will put listing flyers. I know it seems so old school. There's actually a Facebook group. It might have been Lab Coat or somebody else. And there was a post towards the end of last year that I was looking at, and they were talking about sign writers. And people were like, yeah, we still get leads from our sign writers. And it's absolutely free once you've got the yard sign. So I would aside from the fact that our listing flyers will be put at the property so as people come through, all right, that's obvious, or for our open house, what have you, but also put them on the yard sign and make sure to get one of these. Either get it from Dirt Cheap Signs through Listing Leads. Under customize, you can change the color so that it's your brand. The extensions stay with you. So when I sell this listing, I will just reassign this yard sign or the sign writer to another listing. And if I click learn more right here, this is how, and hopefully you can see that. So this is how you want your yard sign to look. So again, we've got the status on top. If you've got coming soon, make sure you got coming soon, and then change it to just listed and be excited about that. All right. Be happy about that, because when the neighbors are walking through, the people are driving by and they see coming soon, that's going to capture their attention. Or they see the just listed, that's going to get their attention. And then I've got for sale, I've got open house. So I've got all of them, because every time I change that on the yard sign, it's going to capture the attention of people going by, and they're going to go, wait, that was just coming soon last week. Now it's just listed. Now it's for sale. Now it's open house, because it gets best when you get to the pending and you do the sale pending with the yard sign or with the sign writer, because now you're generating more seller leads. So, but you got to do the setup to get to the payoff. So get your coming soon writer. If you got coming soon, if it's your listing, just listed, I would get all of them from your association, right? They're normally like not five, but like $7 to $8. Even in California, I think they were like $7 or $8 each. And I would buy one or two at a time as you can. If you can afford to buy every status that you need, I would do it. And that way, again, when the listing goes pending, you've got that pending writer, you'll have the open house writer. But if you do your yard sign just like this, and again, when you go to listingsleads.com/coming soon, you're going to see this, or /just listed, you're going to see this, and it's cheap. It's easy. All right. Again, you can rotate these around to different listings. So you're not going to, it's not like I'm going to get a sign writer and have to throw it away when the listing is done. No, because once a extension is assigned to your account, that extension will stay with your account. And the really cool thing is, once I add a new listing, and when this listing is gone, it's going to know that I was using 10009, and and then it'll notice that, oh, well, now that listing is no longer in the account, so it's unassigned. It's going to reuse that same extension because it's going to imagine that you may already have the sign writer. But if not, you can always manually assign the extensions as needed. All right. We have other items: blog post, Craigslist, QR code, traffic report, the YouTube listing video. Highly recommend the YouTube listing video. Even if you have your own property videos, the YouTube listing video is great for SEO. And I want to knock as many other websites off page one of Google as possible. So, I do my own property videos for sure, but then I also want to do a YouTube listing video. All right. Can you use the same extent? No, Janet. Yeah, that wouldn't be a good idea. Yeah. Because then you're not going to know when you call them back. You won't know which property were they looking at. So it'd be very confusing for you, but it's also going to be confusing for the person when you call them up and go, "Hi, this is Scott. What property were you calling on?" And they're going to be like, "I don't know. It's just that property over there." So, yeah. Yeah. And, if you got a couple listings and you only want to start with one, just start with one. But again, keep in mind, don't, when you go for like 2 or 3 weeks and you don't get any leads from the yard sign, that's totally fine. Because just keep in mind, we're going to go from coming soon to just listed to for sale, or just listed to open house. And then we're going to go to pending. Then we're going to go to just sold. Now, you may not be able to do the just sold writer, and I get that, but the pending one, that's money. All right. That is a beautiful one to do. But again, it's just the overall, we want to make sure that, and when we did a survey a while ago, over 50% of people attributed getting business from their yard signs that use those writers, all right, that use the status and the other one that's in the account, right? Over 50% of people could attribute getting listings and or buyers from that. And I'm sure the number is actually higher, but some of the people probably forget where maybe the leads came from. But yeah, and once I own the $20 sign writer and I own the $8 status writer, for $30, I can use that for a year, right? So you're gonna do well. Can we add these to Linktree tabs? Christine, what do you mean by adding to Linktree tabs? Now I will show you in Listings to Leads on your dashboard. If I go back to my dashboard, so if you go to your dashboard, scroll down, and we've got link in bio. So I got my listing presentation right here. That's the account level. And then I got link in bio. And this is completely customizable. This is so awesome. I love this tool. A lot of times when people first find it, yeah. So this is for putting on your Instagram, anywhere you need like a link in bio. Notice I got a link to my Calendly, right? My socials, right? I think this is pretty much default, but again, this is I can reorder, change things out, add things, all my listings automatically. The PDF guides, so seller guides, buyer guides. If we auto post for you, so if you click social content in Listings to Leads, we got over 40 different content categories, right? All of those postings will be right here. And more opportunities down here. So Marilyn says, did you go over the new cheat sheet? I did not, but I will. But that was the link I put at the top. And let me see. I think it's this right here. All right. So if you're watching the recording of this, go to listingstoleads.com/blog, BLOG, type in struggling with Facebook ads, unlock the 18 to 14x ROI secrets. And on here, this is like an hour-long video I did with a client. And we talked about, how to properly do a strategy to where by the end of 2 months, he was 8x ROI. So at the end of 2 months, he had $18,000 in closings. He had another $27,000 in contract. And then he had another 3 to 4 people. So, he 9,000 per. So, another 36,000 in short-term pipeline and then more. All right. And so we walked through how to do that here in this video. In this video, I walk you through the common mistakes that most people will make when doing a Facebook ad and how to avoid them. All right. So again, remember though, you got your ads. So the ads, you do an ad, you do an ad, you do an ad, but then you've also got your campaign and strategy. So do not confuse doing an ad for the strategy, because the strategy is a 1 to 2 month thing. And then it's going to be a forever thing from there. But the cheat sheet, aside from the video right above, is this right here. The 10 commandments of the Facebook ad strategy. 1, you got to spend money. All right. You cannot dip your toes. And in fact, in the video above here, the client literally said, he goes, I wasted time and money doing the whole dipping my toes thing. Right. And I see so many people do this. They spend $35 here. They do some random ad that I never talked about them to do over there. Right. And they start doing the kind of their own thing and they go, well, this doesn't work. Well, it didn't work because you didn't do it properly. If you actually just do it properly, it will probably work. And so the first thing is, don't spend too little money. If I go to the gym and use 10-pound weights, will I ever get any muscle? All I'll do is just be annoyed that I'm, looking like a weirdo, sitting there for, using a 5-pound weight on a Monday, and then I don't do anything, and I go in on Friday and I complain about I don't have any muscles, right? Because I dipped my toe in on a 5-pound weight. You got to spend money because, again, you need to get more leads coming in, because you're never going to generate 10 leads and have 10 good leads. That just doesn't happen. You need to get people coming in so those good leads are going to start popping up more. And as I spend more money and the longer I go being consistent, Facebook is going to show my ads to better and better people. All right. And it won't always get cheaper. Usually it does. But like I said, over this weekend, we did the ad and I was kind of expecting those leads to come in on the mid to high 3s, because I'm pretty good at this stuff now. And I know, his area and other areas, and they were coming in at $450 a lead. But again, open houses are always going to be more expensive for whatever reason, but it's fine because I'm going to be meeting a lot of these people face to face. So it's absolutely worth it. Here's the other thing. All right. $50 per ad is a minimum. All right. If again, the 35 we give you, that is just a default minimum from Facebook. So I can have, I don't have to do $100 in one ad, although I can if it's performing well. And I actually show you how to extend good performing ads and cancel ads that are not doing well in the video above. You can spend $150 per ad per week as long as the cost per lead is good. I got clients doing $200 to $300, but that's much more advanced. Pay attention to your ads daily. I would literally log in daily and just look and make sure that my cost per lead is good. Again, in the video above, I walk you through, hey, if I got an ad and I'm generating $2 to $3 per lead, I can both add budget and extend the ad out. And if an ad is coming in at like $8 or $9 a lead, that's just awful. For a buyer lead, that would be hideous. So I can actually either A, edit the ad, or B, which I would rather do, I just turn the ad off because I want to rerun it and get all new data. Sometimes Facebook will just put your ad in front of the wrong people, or the wrong people start clicking your ad and it just goes off on some weird tangent and your, cost per lead is just ridiculous. You don't need to get mad or offended or bent out of shape about it, because it just happens. Not worth your emotional energy. Just turn the ad off, rerun the ad, and typically you're going to see your cost per lead will come back to normal, 8 out of 10 times, literally. All right. You got to run ads every week. All right. You can't be, like I said, you can't go to the gym doing 5-pound weights once or twice a week and expect results. Same with ads. Use our AI text follow-up if you don't have a better option. So if you've got great follow-up, go ahead and use that. If you don't, Listings to Leads, we got both AI text follow-up and regular email follow-up. So if you don't have a good system that you're already currently, now if you've got Lofty, Sierra, Follow-Up Boss, we integrate with all of them. So I don't think there's a CRM that we don't integrate with. So I want your leads to go where you need them, which whether it's going to be Lofty, Sierra, Follow-Up Boss, or within our system, but just make sure you've got your follow-up down. Because that's another thing, follow-up, Listings to Leads makes generating leads easy and very cost effective. That's one of the big things our clients love about us is it's easy and cost effective, but the follow-up is still the follow-up. Now, one of the best follow-ups is sending video text messages. All right, video text messages, nothing earth-shattering. All right, just you responding to the lead. So you might say, "Hey, Janet, thank you for inquiring on our new listing that's coming soon on at 121 Thomason Drive in Folsom. Just want to touch base with you. It's a beautiful property. If you like any other information about that property or find out about other properties nearby, just give me a call back or just respond and I'll talk to you then." You will be surprised. Now, again, 10 out of 10 people ain't going to respond to you. Maybe only 1 out of 10 people do, but that's going to be a lot better and you're going to start getting business. And then when you compound that and you keep doing that week after week after week, you're going to get better. You're going to enjoy it more. You're going to get more people now, responding back to you. Whereas you do that dipping of the toe thing, it's just going to be a waste of time. Don't let bad phone numbers knock you off your game. In fact, I'm going to walk you through something here in 1 second. And I promise you, in 4 minutes, we'll be off. Use the More button to find information, which I'm going to show you. So check this out and look up their home address. All right, so this is what I mean. Hold on. So if I go to, so when you start generating leads, you are going to see the lead detail page like this right here. 2 things. There is a More button. See that on the top right, More? Search name on Google. That's a little bit not as valuable because like depending on the name, but search email and search phone. Do both of those because you're going to find it'll help you confirm the phone number or not. Sometimes, not always. And same with the email. But oftentimes I can find out, like if I do search email on Google, I can find their actual phone number or confirm the number, which happens all the time. And I can find out where they live. So, again, search email on Google, search phone on Google, do both of them. Sometimes you won't get anything from it, but oftentimes one or the two will give me either confirmation of the data I got or other data, and it might fill in data that I didn't have. Seriously, like home address, how long they lived there, other things that may come up. You'd be surprised. So again, here, More, search email on Google, search phone on Google. Now, if I get a home address, I can click here because this will be blank. See where it says the address right there and it's blank. There's an address. Yours, if it's a buyer lead in particular, or it could even be a seller lead where address wasn't collected. So I can click edit, add in their home address, right? So just add in the address right there, click save. And this is really cool. Now, when I click this, check this out. When I click home valuation, this comes up. So I can see the property, all right, other comps nearby, other information, email home value. And this will set them up to get the same email the first week of every month. Check this out. Isn't that cool? Some guides, all to my brand, recent sales. So I could be generating seller leads, some of my client reviews coming in from Google and Testimonial Tree and Zillow, my signature at the bottom right there. So again, as you're generating leads, now if you got another program you're doing this in, phenomenal. That's totally fine. But if you don't, just understand with Listings to Leads, Again, use the more, search email, search phone. If you find a home address and you can confirm that they own it, add it to listings to leads right here, and then click home value. And now before I send the email, it's customizable because it sits in an editor. Hello, Scott. Right, I can edit it however I want. Click send and send that to my new buyer lead. Because again, if they own a home, I want to make sure they understand that if they need to sell before they buy, well, I can help them out. So I don't want to treat a buyer lead as only a buyer lead and discount the entire fact that they own a property, because I'm going to miss opportunity. I'm going to miss a lot of opportunity. So with that, is everybody good to go? I apologize for going long. I typically don't like to go long like this. I know you're busy and you got other things that you're trying to get done during the day, but I appreciate everybody being with us. I'm still pretty new to doing the live webinars like this. Normally, I've always been using GoToWebinar, but I'm actually liking the live. So hopefully you're appreciating them as well. Let me know in the mastermind group or let me know in the comments below this video. And with that, let me see. Are we good? Eric, good to see you. And to the, was it Halprin? Let me see. Yeah, Chris over there in Southeast Michigan. Thank you for being on with us. Everybody else, awesome. All right. Listen, everybody, hopefully I'll see you at 5 o'clock tonight. Get into the mastermind group. Get with our support team. We'll talk to you soon.